Hey everyone, Roman Prokopchuk here. So more than 90,000 troops make up Russia's irrecoverable military losses in Ukraine, as reported by the Russian media project iStories or Vazhnye Istorii. One of the two sources of the information works in the FSB. The other is a former state security officer. Irrecoverable losses is a category that includes servicemen who were killed, went missing, died from their wounds, or were disabled and cannot return to military service. This new estimate is close to the figures stated earlier by the Pentagon and the British Defense Ministry. Last August, the Pentagon estimated that 70 to 80,000 Russian troops have been killed or critically wounded since the start of the war. In September, the British Defense Secretary Ben Wallace stated that the Russian army's total losses exceeded 80,000. Of those, about 25,000 were thought to have been killed. And honestly, they're all going to die. What Russian soldiers who have already fought in Ukraine think about Putin's mobilization effort. So if this is what actual soldiers that have fought, presumably seen obviously fighting along the front in Ukraine in terms of occupied territory and have, witnessed what Ukraine is capable of in the fighting, how intense it can be, basically aren't too enthusiastic about what these mobilized men could really do, basically being thrown into a meat grinder. In a direct appeal to Russian soldiers, Ukraine's defense minister says they're paying in blood for somebody's fantasies, which is obviously true. I've said it before. President Putin has, little man syndrome, Napoleonic complex. He wants to build a great empire that he feels was, destroyed when the Soviet Union fell. He wants to leave a lasting legacy, and one of which was obviously bringing back quote unquote Crimea, Krim, with the annexation in 2014, obviously fighting in Donetsk and Luhansk, and sending military on quote unquote vacation in 2014 to go fight there. So he has a legacy or a delusional kind of mindset in terms of, everybody's against him. He wants to rebuild the Soviet Union, Ukraine this, Ukraine that. Obviously, how can Ukraine move away from Russia since we're so close and we're allied through history and this, that, or the other? But really, it's just leaving a delusional legacy. And one of the things that he was super pissed off recently was the Kerch Bridge, which cost a couple $1 billion and, connected Russia to Crimea instead of using the ferries across the Kerch Strait. And that bridge was obviously, if all of you or most of you have seen, was hit a few days ago on Putin's birthday. So this missile retaliation that's been going on for a few days, hitting Ukrainian cities, civilian targets, infrastructure, quote unquote, was retaliatory for the terrorist act of blowing up the bridge. Well, this retaliation per se was already planned to go on since the beginning of October, since militarily nothing is really going Russia's way. But, that's neither here nor there. But kind of to end this, I spoke to my mom. My mom called Ukraine. Most of our family is okay. In terms of a direct effect, one of these missile strikes in one of the cities, my mom called one of her nieces, and her niece's cousin's home was hit. Luckily, nobody was there, but the house is completely destroyed, and one of these unprovoked, obviously, attacks on civilians in civilian areas. So, talk about hitting close to home as these missile strikes are actually going on. It actually, hits somebody that, directly knows or part of my family. So it's kind of crazy. Slava Ukraini, Heroim Slava, Slava Nazi, Slava Bohu. God bless.